Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the City Guys podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about the most recent game against the Columbus Crew and looking forward to the game this weekend against Vancouver. Farud, how you feeling after this last match week?
You know, not as bad. Even though we lost, I'm not feeling as bad about this week as I did for the past 3 weeks, and we just had loss
Mm.
after loss. I mean, this game, we were playing the best team in the East. They were the only other undefeated team other than Miami. And I mean, I didn't think it was an overall bad performance from St. Louis City here.
Mm.
I mean,
No, I didn't think so
yeah,
either.
go on, go on.
No, I actually thought this was one of our better performances in a long time. Obviously, we scored, which is an improvement over the last few
Yes.
games. But I actually thought we had a lot of really good chances in this game. We ended up having the higher XG than Columbus, which was pretty surprising to see, I think, after the game, because it didn't really feel like that at
No.
times. Columbus definitely dominated possession and had more shots, but City actually had a few really good quality chances. So we'll take that. It's definitely an improvement over the past few weeks. But it's just, yeah, it's unfortunate that we weren't able to get any points from this game. But I actually thought this was a pretty solid performance.
I mean, I feel like the biggest highlight coming out of this game, for us at least, was Joao Klauss finally scored since last summer against Chicago Fire. I think that's what it
Yeah,
was.
last May. Oh, it was
So,
almost a full year.
I mean, Joao Klauss on FotMob was, according to FotMob, he was the man of the match. I mean, he ended the game with an 8.2 match rating, which I mean, it's kind of surprising that he ended up getting man of the match, but he definitely was one of the best players on St. Louis City's team. I
Mm.
mean, if not the best player. I mean, let's talk about his lineup here. We had Klaus playing up top with Toy Shirt back from injury. Pompeu also on the wing. Conrad Valem on the wing. Kyle Hebert was playing that kind of wingback role. And then we had Alfredo Morales and Hartel kind of playing in the center. And then we had that back three with Yarrow, Kessler, and Baumgartel. And then, of course, Lunton net. I mean, what did you think of this
Mm.
lineup? This is something different than what we usually see, having that like 8 defensive players on the field. This is something different. I mean, Melberg actually rolled out with an attacking lineup here. This is something that is very surprising in my opinion.
Yeah, no Leuven for this game. So he kind of dropped Hartel back into that Leuven spot that he usually plays in, which was interesting to see because obviously Hartel is an attacking player. So seeing him play so deep was kind of surprising, but I actually thought it kind of worked. I mean, Hartel didn't have his best game here, but I thought overall the attack was much better this game. There were way more chances. I guess obviously the trade off is we got absolutely dominated in terms of possession. I mean,
Yeah.
the midfield was almost non-existent at times. They weren't really trying to play possession based or trying to build up. They were more trying to go for those quick attacks, those counter attacks, which honestly was more effective than what we've been doing over the past few weeks. So maybe that's not necessarily a bad thing that we didn't have a lot of possession in this game, but it is something that's interesting to see, and is obviously very different from what we've seen this year from City. Then having Pompeu and Toyhurt right behind Klaus is kind of almost like deep line wingers or kind of wide attacker midfielders. I thought was kind of interesting. I'm
Yeah.
glad to see Pompeo get the start here. I think he's been pretty good since he's come back from injury.
For sure.
Um, so I actually thought this was a very intriguing lineup. But I feel like, yeah, they obviously didn't win this game, but they had a decent amount of chances. I thought they played okay. And I actually think I actually might prefer this lineup over the lineups we've been seeing over the past few weeks.
I completely agree. And I mean, okay, one thing I just have to mention, this Pompeu Valem duo, like going down the wings, I really, really love seeing this. And I know both those guys really
Mhm.
love playing with each other. They had nothing but love when they talked about each other. And I mean, Pompeu and Valem, I feel like are two of our best, like some of our most technical players. Like
Yeah.
Valem had himself a pretty good game. I mean, sure, he didn't end up scoring or assisting, but I mean, he ended up having a really good game. And then Pompeu, he had that. It was basically like kind of like cross, like that low driven pass into the box, and then Klaus he banged it off the crossbar and then he headed it in. So I
Yeah,
mean, Pompeo didn't get
yeah.
the assist, but I mean, still Pompeo was the one that created that goal. So I
Mm.
really love seeing both these two guys, man. I mean, wonderful seeing these guys after that robotic ass football we've been playing for like the past 7-8 weeks. Seeing these guys kind of have a like the fresh breath of air. Is really nice to see. And also, I mean, this game, I mean, we were coming into this game expecting to get dominated because, I mean, this is like the best team in the East. And Wilfred Nasi's team, they're kind of based around possession. So, I mean, of course, we knew that we weren't going to have the majority of the possession, but I kind of feel like we did pretty good for what ended up happening. Also, on top of that, Columbus Crew ended up getting that Philadelphia guy. I don't remember if you saw it, Daniel Gazdag from Hungary.
Mhm.
And we actually ended up dodging playing him when he played Philadelphia. But he ended up playing this game, and I think that we did a pretty good job of kind of shutting him down. I don't know what you thought about that, but I thought this match was not as bad as the scoreline makes it seem.
No, and I mean, they talked about this, the commentators did after the game, that they felt like Columbus or that this game was closer than it should have been, and that Columbus could have had 4 or 5 goals, which I mean, sure, they missed, they had a few really big
Yeah,
misses, especially in that first half. But I think you could say the same about City. I mean, obviously our XG was a goal higher than we ended up with. We had an XG of like 2.02, which was actually higher than Columbus's, which is why I kind of thought it was funny that they were kind of making that point. But Columbus definitely had more big chances in this game, which is a bit of an issue for City right now. I feel like we we're giving up a lot more big chances now than we did at the start of the year.
yeah.
We basically gave up none in our
Hmm.
first 4 or 5 games, and now we're giving up. We gave up 4 this game according to FOTMOB.
Hmm.
So I think that's something that is getting to our defense a little bit. I think teams are kind of learning to play against a back three like we've been doing. Um, so I think our defense has came back down to earth a little bit from the start of the year,
Yeah.
but it's still obviously very good. It's still the strength of this team, and I don't know. I feel like this game, yes, it was a loss, but against the best team in the MLS, a 1 goal loss in a game where you actually had the higher XG and very well could have gotten a draw or even a win from this game. It's not a terrible result, I think, for confidence wise.
I mean, yeah, I completely agree with everything you said there. I don't looking at this game here, I mean, we need to talk about Yarrow getting subbed off. I mean, he was a 31st minute, Yarrow got subbed off. So I mean, I don't think it's anything serious there because Yarrow himself didn't want to come off this game. It was
Mm.
a concussion protocol, and I think he ended up going back into the game. But then I don't know, the MLS ended up taking him out of the game. Like the MLS made the decision to take him out because
Yeah.
he didn't want to come off.
Yeah, it was weird. He initially got injured, and it seemed like they checked him out and cleared him to go back on the field because he came back into the game, and then they made him leave, which was kind of the weird thing about it. And I feel like, yeah, if a player was good enough to come back into the game, then I think taking him out for kind of concussion protocol, it's a little weird. It doesn't really make too much sense to me. I get why they need to be safe and they want to be cautious with that stuff, but
Uh,
I think if you take him out and then you put him back in, like I don't know. It was weird seeing him come out after going back in. But I don't think it really had a too much of an impact on this game. I thought the defense played well without Yarrow. Um, I
yeah,
think Akil Watts played okay. He's obviously not as good of a player at defending compared to Yarrow, but he did offer a little bit more on the attack. I
yeah.
felt like so it was a pretty even trade off. But yeah, it definitely was a weird situation.
I completely agree, and I feel like another thing we need to talk about is Timo Baumgartel made his first start of the season for St. Louis
Hmm.
City. I mean, this was a player that I mean, we didn't. He was kind of a free agent, so I mean, we all expected him to be a pretty like high profile player for this team. I mean, he had
Mm.
I don't know. a lot of Bundesliga experience. I mean, he played for Schalke. He played everywhere in the Bundesliga. He ended up
Yeah.
playing for. He might have played for
Stuttgart,
Ajax.
I think.
I feel like he played for Ajax in the
Yeah,
Dutch
he played
league.
for Ajax.
In the Dutch
Yeah, he
league.
did.
I mean, yeah, Timo Baumgartel. I mean, it didn't we didn't really know why he was not playing, but I mean, first game. I mean, with that Nielsen injury, I think Nielsen's out to like May. So I mean, Baumgartel, we're gonna see a lot more of him in the future. And also, I mean, what's really crazy to me is later on in the stages of the game, I feel like Baumgartel has that work rate that St. Louis City really needs. I mean, it kind of got to the point that he started also he's like really enthusiastic. Like from what I've seen on the pitch, this guy's really enthusiastic. He loves being out there. And
Mm.
he ends up actually pressing the other team center backs. Like he ends up playing as a nine, which I mean is really interesting. And I really think that that work rate that he has, he presses, he can do he does well on and off the ball. I really do think that this guy might be it might be time for him to be a solidified starter on this team.
I agree. I mean, when we signed him, I was under the impression that he was going to be one of the starting center backs pretty much
Yeah.
every single game where he was healthy, just because of his talent and his reputation. And I actually thought he played pretty well. I mean, his rating didn't really reflect that too much. He ended with a 6.5, which isn't the best, but it was the highest of the back line for City in this game.
Yeah.
So if you want to take that as you will, but yeah, I think Baumgartel is one of those players that I was really excited for in the offseason. I'm glad he's finally making strides with the team, and we'll just have to see going forward. I guess another thing that I kind of wanted to mention, this isn't necessarily related to the game, but there's been heavy rumors and heavy links of City signing a new attacking midfielder who plays for Augsburg. His name is Fredrik Jensen from Finland,
Yeah.
27 years old. He hasn't gotten a ton of playing time at Augsburg. In fact, he's barely made any appearances there. But it is he is a Bundesliga player, so obviously you have to be good enough to make it there. And it's a very interesting signing. I think them going after an attacking midfielder shows that they are maybe not listening to us specifically, but they know that they need to bolster this attack a little bit. It's just nowhere near
Indeed.
good enough right now. So what do you think about this signing? Because I have some opinions, but I want to hear yours
I
first.
have some opinions about this, and I mean, I heard about this last week. But when you kind of mentioned that attacking midfielder, a part of me was thinking about Thomas Mueller. Just hoping. Uh, but I don't know. But okay, let's talk about him here. From what I've seen, is that he hasn't really made. I mean, you did say that he hasn't made that many appearances with Augsburg. It seems like he hasn't really scored or assisted or really done much
Mm,
for them. So I'm
no.
kind of questioning why we're signing him. I mean, sure, he might actually end up like being really good, and like we're just completely wrong here. But I mean, there's not really a resume to really build off of here. I mean, I don't know. Like I genuinely don't really know. I don't know where else he's played because I couldn't really find him on FotMob. I don't know if you could, but I mean, I don't really.
Uh,
Yeah,
trying to pull it up right now.
yeah. Here, you tell me when you pull that up. But
So it
yeah, go
looks
on.
like he's been at Augsburg since 2018, um, and his his best season there was actually last year, the 23-24 season. He had 22 appearances, 2 goals, and 5 assists. And that was his career high with Augsburg. So he's definitely like a bench player, a depth piece. Doesn't get a ton of minutes there,
Interesting.
but it's interesting to see because I don't think it's here's I don't know. He also played in the Eredivisie, where he actually played a lot more minutes there.
Here he
What club
is.
is this?
Let's see. Oh yeah, here
Uh,
we go. Here we go. I found him.
oh, 20.
Yeah, he played for
So yeah,
Twente.
I mean, yeah, he's not um like a nobody. He's definitely got a lot of experience. Might not have the greatest numbers or production, but I think playing in
He
those top leagues, obviously he has a lot of experience and pedigree to make it that far. So I think coming to the MLS, he in theory he should be a very productive player.
He might be more of like, is he an attacking midfielder?
That's what he's listed as. Yeah.
It kind of seems like he might be more of like a CDM for some reason. I don't know why. Because like if you
Mm.
look at like his like traits, they're more like based off like aerial duels, like defensive work.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I mean,
Hmm.
okay. Anyways, like this could end up being like a really good signing for us, and like we're just like not we just don't really know anything about him. But it kind of makes me question like why are we getting all of our players from the like I know that Lutz has connections, you know, with all like Bundesliga and that like Central European and Northern European area, you know, but like I really do feel like we should look into other areas, you know, start building up kind of our like scouting, you know, try to find players from other places, you know. Because every time I see this stuff, it's
Mm.
always another player from like the Bundesliga or another player from like I don't know, like up north in like the one of the Norwegian leagues or something. Like there's players in like other parts of the world, you know, like South America. I mean, like St. Louis City, I feel like is really lacking on creative buildup, you know, and players like
Mm.
Pompeu and Klaus, they're Brazilian. They have that flair in them. I mean, Conrad Valum is not Brazilian, he's European, but I mean, still like we need more creative players if we're actually going to score, and I don't feel like I don't know. These players that we're kind of signing here, I don't know. But
Yeah.
I mean, all the best to Frederick if he comes here, though. Like he has my full support if he comes here. That's all I'm saying.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting too, because what I just glanced at his profile. It's not an official signing. Like, it might not happen,
Yeah.
but there's been pretty heavy rumors, so we'll see if that goes anywhere. But yeah, I think he might. Maybe they'll play him more as a traditional midfielder. Because I think you are right. I think even though he's listed as a cam, he actually plays more in like a traditional midfield or deep line midfielder role. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how they would fit him into the system and kind of because when you're signing a guy, they're probably going to. I mean, his value is about 3.5 million, so they're probably going to have to pay around that too, which is a lot of money for an MLS club to spend on a player. So I mean, when you're spending that much, you're spending for him to be in the starting lineup. So I think it's interesting that they kind of already see they have to see a spot for him in the starting 11. I feel like if they're going to spend that amount of money on a guy like this, so it's interesting to see where they would kind of fit him into and what player they would have him replace.
You know, let me see. I mean, it's really hard because that it might end up being Pompeu that gets benched. That's the thing. Like I don't see Toysher
Mm,
getting benched. Or I mean, it could be
no.
Klaus once again. I mean, but like I kind of feel like Klaus has kind of proved himself that that he can't be benched. You know, you need that nine. Um, but like it's either got to be Pompey or Klaus that'll end up getting benched. I feel like Teuscher is not getting benched. Hartel is not getting benched. You kind of need that Lewin or Morales role player, in there. And
Maybe
then
they
yeah, what's up?
was gonna say maybe they play him aside, or like next to a Leuven and Morales, kind of in that midfield role, which
Yeah,
would kind of be surprising because playing an attacking minded player that deep, especially for a city team that's supposedly supposed to be defensive oriented, kind of defensive philosophy, it would be a pretty big change. But I don't know.
see,
Maybe they're looking at this team right now and they're like, we need to bolster this attack. We need more attacking minded players.
yeah, I don't really know. I don't know. Because I really do like Pompeu. I don't want to see Pompeu bench because he's like the only creative option we have other than Valum, maybe.
Hmm.
So I feel like Pompeu and Valum 100% have to be on that lineup. And then I feel like Teuscher, since he's one of our DPs, they can't afford to bench him. Lewin's not getting benched. Hartel's most likely not getting benched because it's Marcel Hartel. So
Mm.
I, I don't know. Klaus might be the only option after that gets benched for this guy. So it might be like the
And here's
Teuscher playing
my
the nine.
Yeah, and that's my thing. In a vacuum, I don't think this signing would be terrible. I don't think it's a great signing though. Um, I think there's better uses of of our available funds than going out and buying another unproven midfielder that might be good, might not be good. But it's interesting to me that they're targeting midfielders right now instead of what we thought, which would be a striker. Um,
Exactly.
so maybe that shows they have a little bit more faith in Klaus than we thought. Or maybe it's just one of those things where this guy was available, and we're going after him. I don't know. We'll have to see if any of this comes to fruition. In my opinion, if I had to lean one way or the other, I'd say I'm not a fan though of this signing. I don't think it would be a great signing. I don't think it would really move the needle, but we'll see.
See, I don't really think it's worth the price. That's my issue. I
No,
mean, there is an issue here that St. Louis City's not spending the money, but I mean that doesn't mean spend it on literally anybody. Like
right.
that. I mean, he doesn't really. I wouldn't really see how he fits this team. I kind of feel like those roles are already kind of set. So I I would say I would veto this transfer. Myself.
I agree. Yeah. But I
But
will
yeah,
say it is nice that City are being a little bit aggressive here and going into the transfer market this early, or at least looking at it. Because I think that's something we were obviously one of the most aggressive teams in the MLS
for sure.
last year during the transfer window, which I do appreciate from City. They're not a type of team to just sit back and let these transfer windows pass them by. We're always looking to improve the squad. We need to improve the squad. So even if we're not the biggest fans of Jensen, and even if that doesn't come to fruition, it's nice that they're at least making the effort and making offers and trying to get things done here.
Speaking of Jensen, I don't remember if you remember the old player on our team named Isaac Jensen. I don't remember if you remember him. It was like it was one of our old wingers. He was like a
Oh yeah,
he was like a
yeah,
left winger. He was like
yes,
Norwegian, or he was Swedish or something. It was something like that. You know what? He recently
yeah.
like popped up on my radar again, and I started like looking into him again. And it turns out he's been balling the fuck out in
Really?
like Iceland. I don't remember what team. Isaac.
I think that's right.
I
He's
could,
Danish.
oh yeah, he plays for Viborg. Viborg.
Yeah,
Um,
Borg.
but he has three. I mean, he has 3 goals in 2 matches. The team's not doing too hot, to be honest. But I mean, I literally saw his he. I just randomly remembered this because I follow him on Instagram and I saw that he had a
Mm,
he you remember that Ronaldo free kick versus Spain in that World Cup?
mm,
It was literally like
yeah.
that. It was like that. It was like the rocket free kick, and it turned. I saw that Isaac Jensen scored that. I was like, huh, how's this guy doing? And he's been pretty damn good for these guys. So yeah, I feel like that's another miss
Hey,
out that City has had. I feel like I really loved him because I all the times I saw him play, he didn't really get too much playing time, but the times I did see him play,
no.
he was pretty good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I remember that he was a short-term loan,
mhm,
that first year,
yeah,
who they didn't end up extending, which I guess probably was a mistake in hindsight, but,
holy
I don't
he
know, it's interesting.
He okay, so he's had 8 goals, 1 assist, and 18 starts. He has a
Pretty
7.26
good.
foul mob rating. So
Yeah,
he's
that's
been pretty
really good.
good. He's been pretty good. But anyways, I mean, okay, let me ask you this real quick. What do you think City
Okay.
needs in the summer? What do you think St. Louis City needs to improve on in the squad? Like, what do you think, like, regarding like departures and like arrivals? Like, what do you think that we should kind of offload from the team? And then what do you think we should bring in the
Mm,
summer? Like, what do you think we need?
that's a good question. I think goalie and defense-wise, I think we're fine. We obviously spent a lot on our defense in the offseason, and it has paid dividends. I mean, they've been phenomenal so far this
Yeah.
year. The midfield, I do think we do need to invest in the midfield, but not in an attacking midfielder sense. I'm thinking more of your traditional, like Leuven type role. Um, we need someone to pair with Leuven hypothetically, or honestly, someone to kind of replace the role that Leuven's been doing, because Leuven has just not been good enough. Um, like that's just the truth. We just can't have success with the way this team is built without a really strong midfielder to hold things down and kind of anchor the team. So I really think, honestly, I would say, yeah, a really strong possession-based midfielder that can kind of dominate games and win back the ball is probably our biggest need. And I would have said a striker. Um, Obviously, I guess Klaus did have a pretty good game against Columbus, but I mean that is only one game.
We'll have to
He's
see.
had one good game and what 6 or 7 stinkers so far. But I still think a striker is definitely on our short list. I don't know if we necessarily need to be super aggressive and like go out and target and overspend to get one, but if one's available, we 100% should consider it and try and make it a priority to sign one.
You know,
So I would say, yeah, midfield and striker.
I completely agree with that. I mean, I don't see. I feel like by the time the summer rolls around, I feel like we'd get more of like a broader kind of, I don't know, like a portfolio of like what Klaus has done this year. Because I mean, we still have a while,
Mhm.
so it because we can't really get anyone right now. So if we wait until the summer, I feel like Klaus would have actually shown his like how good he actually is. So if Klaus is balling out in the summer, so then I'd say keep him. But I feel like a striker is really something that we need. Because I
Mm.
mean, we can't have this one Klaus goal in like 4 months, like every 4 months. So we need somebody that's consistent, in my opinion. And I mean, I really do love Klaus. I've been saying this since like week one, that Klaus goal is coming, and it finally came. But I completely agree with you. I do also think that we might want to actually get another winger, possibly, in my opinion, just cause like I want to see like a more um, I want to see more of like a pace player. I know we have Pompeu. Pompeu gets behind the lines. He's really effective getting behind the lines. I really like him. I want to see more of those type of players, those fast players who can dribble. Or also, what would not be a bad pick, is if we actually went out and tried to sign Thomas Mueller. Like I know it's a big signing, it's all that, but his contract at Bayern is up. We have connections in Germany. St. Louis City's German connections. I mean, half the team's German, so I feel like Thomas Mueller would actually not be that far fetched for this team.
Uh, Potentially, yeah. But I would say I am kind of against signing those
Older,
expensive veteran players in the
yeah,
MLS.
interesting.
Um, just because I feel like you look at historically, most of them haven't panned out and haven't been worth it. I know there's a few exceptions, like Beckham was really good. Zlatan was pretty good. Messi is obviously really good, and Suarez and those guys. But there's also been a lot of examples of guys who have not panned out at all, like Royce. I guess they did win the championship, but Royce has been pretty bad since he's
Yeah,
got to LA Galaxy. Like
should have
Olivier
came here.
Giroud's been really bad. I don't know. I think
Interesting.
we'll see. I don't know if Thomas Mueller is available. Sure, I wouldn't be mad if City went out and got him. In fact, I'd be pretty happy. Like that'd be insane. But my pie in the sky, like s- unrealistic, but definitely possible signing for St. Louis City, Josh Sargent. It would have to be. It would probably be like an MLS record transfer fee because he has been balling with Norwich, but Norwich aren't getting promoted this year. They are kind of stuck in the championship right now, and Sargent has his family. I believe are St. Louis City ticket holders. I might be
They
making
are.
that up, but I
They
believe
are
I heard that
indeed.
somewhere. Yeah.
They are indeed.
So his family's a big fan. He's from the St. Louis area. He would have come up through St. Louis City's academy program if we had been around when he was coming up the ranks. I do think he will play for St. Louis City at some point in his career. I'm pretty confident in that. But if we can get him right now, while he's in his prime, while he's balling out, I mean, he could legitimately be the best player in the MLS because he's arguably the best player in the championship. And with where Norwich is at, I think if City made an offer, it would have to be 15, 20 million plus, which is probably way out of our price
Yeah.
range. But if he was willing to take maybe like a discount or something to come home, I don't know. I don't think it's impossible because where he's at in his career, I think he's kind of reached his peak. in terms of the European game. Maybe he could go. I think he's gone from Norwich this year. I don't think he's play top league football in Europe, or maybe he comes back home, plays in the MLS. Who knows? Probably pretty unrealistic. But if we got Josh Sargent, that would be the best signing, obviously in this club's history, and
For
would be one of the
sure.
biggest signings in MLS history.
I mean, yeah, Josh Sargent. The only issue I'd have with that is that if he does end up leaving Norwich, I feel like one of those Premier League clubs might end up actually scooping him up. That's like the biggest issue. I feel like
Yeah.
he's been on fire for Norwich, and I feel like one of those bottom tier, Premier League clubs,
Oh,
like
100%.
yeah, like one of those teams like either gets promoted possibly, or like I don't know, like some random club, maybe like Everton or some shit, like come out and like scoop them up. So I feel
Mhm.
like that's our biggest competition. Is that I feel like he is like a St. Charles native, so I mean he is a he's a he's from a he's a home talent. But I really would love to see Josh Sargent. I get a jersey on the first day, but I don't know. I also, you know what? If we don't end up going too ham on the transfer window, the youth academy, I mean, it's always available. We have guys like Mikey Joyner, uh, what do you call it? Caden Glover. I mean, Caden Glover kind of comes in now. Tyson Pierce. You have all these guys on the youth academy on City too who have been balling out. So it might be time for some of these guys to get like actual contracts from St. Louis City because I mean some of these guys are really good. Like Joyner, I mean, he's been on
Mhm.
fire. He's been on fire last year, this year. Joyner's been really good. So and he actually ended up getting his first MLS game. What do you call it? Cap this year or this game here. He came on like the 87th minute, I think. Um, yeah, 87th minute. Joyner came on. I don't think he really did much because I mean by that time the game was basically over. But yeah, Joyner, I really do think I have high hopes for him, and I really do think that he'll make St. Louis. He'll break through that St. Louis City first team.
I agree. And I just want to mention, I found this article about Josh Sargent actually from 2 months ago, because I forgot this happened, but he very nearly joined Cincinnati.
Oh,
He agreed on personal terms to join there, but the deal ended up falling through because Cincinnati's bid was, I believe, around 16 million, and Norwich wanted at least 20 to 25 million. So
interesting.
it does seem like he is willing to come to the MLS if an offer is in place. It's really just about matching that transfer fee that Norwich wants, which would be 20 million plus. City doesn't really have that money, and even if we did, we probably wouldn't be willing to spend it. But who knows? I don't know. Maybe we could make some things happen. It would be a phenomenal signing, and we do own his discovery rights
We
in the
do indeed.
MLS, which is kind of Mickey Mouse. I don't know if that really means that much in the grand scheme of things, but um, I don't know. I'm really hoping that City go out and make a big splash like that because I think that could be a franchise altering transfer.
100%. I mean, I do think that what do you call it? These kind of like tagging these players, like discovery rights. Is kind of a really stupid concept,
Hmm.
but I mean, since we own them, why not? But I mean, I guess let's move on here. Do we want to talk about the future, our future games here? I mean, we do
Yeah,
have a
let's
up.
get into the.
Yeah, what's up?
Let's just get into the game against Vancouver this weekend at home. Best team in the West. The schedule not getting any easier. What are your initial thoughts going into this game?
I mean, Vancouver 6-1-1. I mean, I can't say more. This team is insane. 17 goals for, 6 goals against. So I mean, they're doing pretty well. They haven't been conceding much. They've been scoring a lot of goals. So this is in my opinion, I do think that this is a tougher matchup than Columbus Crew is. I personally really do think that because this Vancouver attack is on fire this year. I mean,
Hmm.
uh, you have what's this guy's name? Brian White. He has 6 goals this season. Yeah, he's their top scorer right now. 6 goals is crazy. So I think our top scorer is at one right now. So it's not very
Yeah.
good. So, anyways, I mean, Vancouver is a much tougher test in my opinion. I mean, this game is at home. So hopefully we have that home field kind of boost. I mean, we played well against Columbus, but Vancouver, in my opinion, is a whole nother like playing field. This team has been really good this year.
Completely agree. I think, even though maybe you could argue Columbus is a better team than Vancouver, I think Vancouver matches up way better against us than Columbus does, just because their attack is so high flying. It doesn't really matter what what defense they go against; they're gonna score multiple goals, basically guaranteed. Which we are basically guaranteed to not do that at this point. So, obviously, if you're doing the math there, it's going to be pretty hard to win when the other team scores multiple goals and you can't. So, it's going to be interesting. I will say, um, I do think they are a little prone to the counterattack,
Interesting.
compared to the average team, just because they're so attacking heavy. And we have obviously most of our goals this year, not most, but what,
A fair
two
amount.
of our 5 goals this year have come from the counterattack. So we're definitely a pretty strong counterattacking team. I feel like that's where we generate our best chances. So who knows? Maybe we could potentially spurn them on the counterattack a little bit. That's definitely in play. But I will say I am not confident at all going into this game. I was a little bit more confident against Columbus, just because I thought we matched up better against them. I thought maybe we could get a shock result there. Here, I really don't see it. I think Vancouver, obviously, they're in such great form, best team in the West. They're in the CONCACAF Champions Cup semifinal, I believe. So they're absolutely cooking right now. But who knows? I'm obviously expecting City to play a little bit better than what we've seen um, the past few weeks before this Columbus game, because I actually thought we had a pretty solid performance against Columbus. So if we could bring that into this game, keep it close, keep it competitive, I wouldn't be super upset. But it's definitely a very tough matchup. Like, for a team that's trying to get things right, trying to find themselves a little bit, having to play the schedule of doom and despair here, is definitely brutal from the football gods, putting this on City right now.
I completely agree, and I mean, let's go in. Let's talk about the future matches here. I mean, we do this kind of every week now, but we are in the schedule of doom. So I mean,
Mhm.
Vancouver this week, LAFC away from home. Next week, Seattle Sounders, San Diego, and then Sporting KC, and then Minnesota also. Which I mean, we were kind of putting Minnesota out of that, like what do you call it, like the schedule of doom and despair. But
Mhm.
low key, Minnesota has also been cooking up. They're second in the West, 4-3-1 right now. So we can't count them out either at this point. So what is that now? One, two, three, four, five, 6 games straight that are at Kansas City. Hopefully, hopefully we beat Kansas City. I mean, we saw that last time, but it didn't happen. But anyways, I mean, this game against Vancouver. See, I really would love to see. I don't know how good Vancouver is on with possession, if they dominate possession or not. Let me see. Uh, they're kind of. It seems like Vancouver is more like that kind of 50-50 possession. So I would like to see
Mhm.
us kind of come out, hopefully, have more possession, because I mean, it seems like we're really struggling on possession. It kind of ends up being like a every game thing where if we are down, then we, of course, game script gives us a possession because the other team will start to park the bus. But in general, if a game is like evened out, it seems like we're on like the back foot most of the time. So I would really, and Melberg, of course, has come out and said that he wants to play possession based football, build out of the back and all that. So I want to see us actually doing that, hopefully, this game. I mean, that Columbus game, we kind of expected them to dominate possession, but here, I mean, Vancouver, it doesn't seem like they dominate possession. It's more like an even playing field. So I want to see us actually have the ball for more than 30%, So I don't know. It's just something that's just what I have. But what do you think about the predictions? What are you predicting at this game?
Well, I just pulled up the betting odds because I was
Yeah.
kind of curious, and this is from Fliff, so maybe it's not the most reliable source. But St. Louis City is actually slight favorites in this game, which I am kind of shocked. Probably because it's a home game,
Yeah.
but we're actually the money line is plus 125 City, plus 180 Vancouver, plus 235 for a draw. Well, honestly, my lock of the week is the Vancouver money line plus 180. I feel like that's a very solid bet. But yeah, just my predictions. I'm gonna say, um, I'm gonna say we keep it close. Maybe even you know, I don't know. Actually, it's tough, but I'm gonna say Vancouver wins in the end. I'll go 3-1. I think we keep it relatively close, but I feel like Vancouver will pull away in the second half. Um, so I'll go a
Interesting.
3-1 win for Vancouver.
Interesting. I'll go with the 2-0 win, Vancouver here. I really hope we score. Like, I really hope I'm wrong here,
Mm,
and we come out guns blazing and we win. But you
mm,
know how happy I was last week when I saw Klaus opened up the score. You know that 1-0. Yeah,
mm,
it
yeah,
was so. It felt like I was in heaven. But I mean,
yeah,
we need to keep that pressure. I mean that first 10 minutes from St. Louis City was really good against Columbus. So
it was.
I mean, we just need to keep that up the entire game now. So, I mean, to be honest, that for, what did Columbus end up scoring both goals in the first half? Um,
No, they scored one
no, there's
right
a
before
yeah,
halftime.
yeah. So, you know, I feel like that first half versus Columbus was not the worst half. You know, St. Louis City was actually in the game. We are
Mm-mm.
playing pretty well. So if we have more of that kind of a game, like what do you call it? Have more of that kind of a mentality going into it, you know, like having I don't know, keep up the pressure. I mean, I don't know. You know what? Like that's the Seattle game from a couple weeks ago. It really so.
Mm.
Yeah, it was a Seattle game. It really felt like Seattle was kind of on that back foot. That game that we won, we kept on pressing them all the way back up to their back line. I feel like we need that high pressing again. I feel like we haven't really seen that too much these past couple weeks. I feel like Vancouver, we can definitely catch these guys out if we with a mistake or two. If we just keep that high pressing up, we need that high work rate from our attackers. I mean, we can't have Baumgartel going all the way up again and trying to pressure
Ah,
their center backs again. So I would like to
yeah.
see Klaus, Teuscher, Pompeu start actually pressing these guys. Trying to force them to make a mistake, hopefully. So I do feel like
Mm,
if we do that against Vancouver, this team might be susceptible to actually getting cooked on that. That's just what I think here.
mm,
But
yeah.
do you have anything else to say? I think are we?
No, I mean, I will say I do think City has been a first half team this year. I think that's where we've played our best football. It's been in the first half of games. So I guess if there's one thing I would ask is for a complete performance, full 90 minutes of of competitive football, even if we don't win the game. Because I do feel like we have trailed off a little bit in the second half. I think Kansas City that was I think the worst instance of this where we actually were pretty decent in the first half and then just completely ran out of gas in the second half. We can't be doing that. So I think a team like Vancouver, where they're going to be high attacking, it's going to be high intensity, a lot of energy in this game. If City could pull out a full 90-minute solid performance, I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah, that'd be a win in my books. But I mean,
Mm.
that's I guess I don't really have anything else to say. So you do?
Oh,
Nope. Yeah. So we'll probably end it off right there. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and hopefully we come back with the St. Louis City victory next week.
yeah,
Hopefully.
been too long.
Yeah, it's been a while now, but yeah, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.